La punition. Ça va tuer. Ça va tuer. Attention. Et là, ça fait. I know your fans. Hey, hey. 任務を遂行する。終わりだ。
Today we'll be ending off the year with another winter-themed grappler from a game that I've covered twice already for their two grapplers. This grappler was interesting as he was designed to be a grappler, but in the end players often played him as a rushdown, and I want to talk about what made him so strong and what made them so different. But what's up fellas, Panda here. I hope everybody enjoyed the festives. The new year's coming up, new year, new me, 2026. Whilst we're hitting a new milestone in our lives, let's hit this milestone being 5,000 subscribers to cover a fun version of Zangief. I've got a couple in my mind, but who knows which one I'll use. Be sure to check out the membership, and I want to say thank you fellas for checking out the last G.R.A.B vid being on Bark the Polar Bear and on designing Gabriel, the most overlooked character in Guilty Gear. I had a ton of fun with that and it was fairly different, and I sat there just genuinely theory crafting. But it's time for the usual, let's go over what a grappler wants. Grappler in a 2D fighting game tends to lack the range or the get-in tools or anything like that, but they make up for it by having that aggressive 50-50 strike throw pressure. Once they're in, they're in, and if they land either one, you are dead, and that is the nature of the 2D grappler. But for this next bit, if you guys have seen the last two videos, you can actually ignore this next section as I'll be reusing the video that I used from Halloween. So if you know how Darkstalkers work, or if you've seen the last two, you can skip using the chapter system and head straight to the Sasquatch. That being said, it's time for Darkstalkers! Blah blah blah!
Stand medium. Aye.
Nice. Oh, here we go. Oh. Got in here.
Damn. Oh, scooped out the sky. This is close. It's close. Jab out. Air grab. That's it. That's it. Now Raptor wants to straight, but now it's pretty much even up. Yeah.
Darkstalkers is an arcade fighting game that came out in 1997. Its main themes of horror and spooky things. The casted stage play into the old folk stories and fables. They play into all of it from all around the world, which is cool. However, as a Scotsman, I have one major complaint. In this game, our representation is a succubus named Morgan Ainsland. That name is pretty Scottish. I'm not too shocked about that. However, in our culture, we have no form of succubus. The best we have is a Sura, which is like an old hag that pretends to be young and all that to lure in folks in the woods. Completely different to that of a succubus. They want to kill people for their desires, we'll leave it at that. I felt like they made this character Scottish because they already made her and they want to replace her, whereas our lores tend to have a lot of fays, fairies, will-o'-the-wisps. We're the original for will-o'-the-wisps and stuff like that, so yeah, only complaint, but besides that, pretty spot on for a lot of them. Let's talk about the game and how it functions. It's unique from other 2D fighters. It was a hyper-aggressive 2D fighter, meaning a whole lot of the movement and attacks that pretty much gatling into each other. It was a 6-button fighter and characters had access to strong grounded movement. Some can float and others can dash. You can tech and guard cancel to avoid combos and offense. You can block in midair. Any grounded tool will hit you at the sky. Every character has different health values, so big bodies had more health. Speaking of health, it was unique. When taking a combo, you had this grey bit of your health. If it gets filled, you lost the round. It's also a lot like Killer Instinct, where if you lose the round, the health carries over, so it's all about getting those 2 lives gone rather than winning the 2 rounds. The grey health could recover out of a fight, but if it touched the end, you were dead. You can chain hits from light, medium to heavy, so you go light punch, medium kick, heavy punch, but as long as it went light, medium, heavy in that order, didn't matter. Meter could build to 99, but this never happened. But you can use them to do EX specials, or ES specials as they're called, or EX supers that can cash out with either iframes, setups, or damage. Every character had an install called Dark Force. It enhances the character like getting a flight, super armor. There's a ton of tech in this game as you can see. That's tend to be the case for older games with a ton to explore. Give Guilty Gear 10 years and peeps will find more stuff, I'm telling you. Shit. Comfortable, yeah?
Absolutely.
Figured. Well, it's time for the grappler of today. The abominable Bigfoot, the pint-sized snow gremlin, Sasquatch. Sasquatch is a 5'8" fella that's chunky but extremely funky. Raining down from Canada, he sells that feeling of winter with little goober energy. The main reason why I think he's funny is the build, right? He's 5'8", so he's smaller than me, and he's got the build of Potemkin, so he just looks funny and silly and not all that intimidating. But that's the point of his design, as he's a friendly fella that would approach anyone. He's also very childlike, where giving him a banana will escape any bad situation with him. He has more in common with Donkey Kong than he does with the actual legends of Bigfoot. Let's talk about the backstory. Sasquatch is considered the MVP of his tribe, hailing from Canada. He heard about Pyron and wanted to beat him up because he's a baddie. Simple as. After doing so, he gets back to his village to see a crater in the ground, and he's all like, "Hey, what happened, fellas?" And the fellas are all like, "Bro, this bad guy Jedi showed up and went like, if we hop in this hole, you'll give us bananas." Then he was all like, "Where's the bananas?" And they were just stumped like, there's no bananas. Sasquatch ended up finding out that they were actually tricked and that the bananas weren't happening. I love these little guys. After finding out about all that, he decided he'd beat up Jedi and teach him what's what, and then he went back to his village. Such a simple plotline, just like an absolute goober, and the funny thing about it is that he probably solved one of the biggest bad guy dilemmas in the story, simply because he was lied to about bananas. I love these guys. Fun fact, in the translated version for the cartoons in the game, he was called Bigfoot. That design, oh my goodness, and I think he did this to localize the game, so it made a bit more sense for the younger gen. We gotta sell it to kids! Before we get into the positive and negatives, it's important to remember that this guy was top 4 without a doubt. He was strong, so this means the negatives are going to be very short compared to the long list of positives. Another fun fact, every special move starts with the word big. I think I love this guy. Like, genuinely, he named everything. Big tower, big breath. There are very few negatives. For example, he didn't get what other grapplers being big and slow, as he is fast and compact. I want to make the point that this little fella is a grappler, as many descriptions and people have wanted this would often refer to his playstyle of that of a grappler. So let's really get into the negatives. Despite having some godlike normals, there are some that are stubby to suit his stature. Using them required being in the right space sometimes, where you're not too close or not too far. His defense isn't all that, as he doesn't have many reversal options to help with aggressors besides guard cancels. His walk speed is slow, the slowest in the game, so playing patient wasn't that possible. It was hard to use, and if you wanted to do something, you had to use your godlike dash or jump about. And funnily, he had a funny issue, which was his hitbox was wide, meaning he was really easy to jump in on for the exact opposite reason that most grapplers are easy to jump in on. That was about it for the snowball, but it's time to talk about why he was deadly and why this grappler design changed into something else. So there's a lot to cover, but let's talk about the stats that were in his favour. He had top 3 health, was small, and his frame data and attacks were solid. The first thing to note is the movement. This little guy can move. His grounded dash covers a ton of screen, and if you cancel out of it, he does a hop dash with no landing recovery, and the attacks can be done at any point, and it leads to suffocating pressure. He's a wee ball of fury that can move anywhere on the screen with this dash. You are not hitting him. His normal throws were fantastic. There's a reason why I'm mentioning his normal throws. I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with maiden, but replace the M with R. Normal throw came out in 1 frame, would give damage and Oki. If the opponent teched, they were still in front of him with the reach to do it again, or mix up. Sasquatch could do a ton of damage and Oki and all that with the throw landing, but he also had many option selects to do his normal throw or air throw, so it was a fantastic option to have available. This is where I think the grappler... You good there, buddy? Jesus. This is my life now. This is my life. So this is where I think the Grappler goes beyond confusing. Some have seen a lot of the professional gameplay and will look at this character and say, Grappler? I was also the same until I did my research. I didn't think he was a Grappler, and anybody suggested him, I was genuinely confused. But it turns out Sasquatch actually has the best command grab in the game. Command grab is done by doing a 360 input, and he'll take a little nibble of command grab leaves the enemy in a state that sets him up to be comboed. This would lead to an infinite in the older versions of the game, but in Vampire Savior, aka Darkstalkers 3, it did 50% on a combo! So the command grab was fantastic, so what's the issue? Why aren't we using it? The only issue is this throw has a ton of recovery. If whiff compared to other throws, we're basically going to get punished every time. A lot of pros will use the high-low a lot more and use the command grab on occasion, despite the fact that the command grab would give you 50%. The command grab itself was also a little inconsistent, with different characters taking different times to get out of the ice depending on mashing, and I think this is why you don't see as much. It's the best throw in the game, but you have to be confident to understand what combo you got off of every character, and that if you are wrong, you're going to take a punish. And you'll see players use normal throw a lot of the time because it's an amazing tool with a little downside. Ultimately, he was designed to be a grappler, but ended up becoming a rushdown. Isn't that interesting? Like, you could still play him as a grappler, but this is what happened. Let's talk about the rest of his kit though, and that being his neutral options were amazing. With his pokes from his hop dash, he also had grounded projectiles with a ton of reach. The projectile could be used for chip kills or those stray hits to win the round. And just a nasty ground covering move. He had big towers for anti-airing, so he had controlled the screen at random points of the fight. Kinda suited his unpredictable nature. He had big breath for destroying projectiles and freezing the opponent if they get hit by it. But the main reason this was used in neutral was to build meter. It used to give quite a bit very quickly. Spamming this was a genuine strat. The main reason why the dashes were insane because of the screen coverage, the damage you can get, and of course the pressure that you can do. The main thing that was also noted was the mix-ups. Every move from this hop is an overhead, meaning you can throw out a 10 frame overhead or do empty land low to mix up the opponent. If it was blocked, players would loop this again to get in the heads of the opponent. It was a mix central, and when players were confident, they'd mix in the command grab to get a ton of damage. That or they picked normal throw because it didn't have any risk compared to the command grab. Also, every normal was plus on block. The only one that wasn't was his sweep, and that had a ton of pushback. Finally, we're going to talk about the funny moves that players didn't use because they weren't good. But they were also very funny, and I feel like it's worth noting. He had this install that gave him super armor, so it was good for getting out the corner. Very nice. The other would send penguins, which didn't really do much, but you know, it's funny. His command grab super is the best in the game, but you'd rather use the command grab because it did more damage, didn't use meter, and still had the same whiff animation. So in the end, amazing command grab super, but it needed to be on a different character. He had a funny super where he ate a banana and left a low projectile on the screen. It's not good at all, but you know, banana. He also had this ice super that was fully unblockable, but was only used on jumpers to catch him on the landing. It was extremely niche. I think Sasquatch was a weird grappler. He had the design to be one, but in the top level of play, you'd see the command grab on occasion because of the risk tied to it. Don't get me wrong, Victor and Anacrus had the same risk, but if you had a riskless game plan that can open up people, why would you open up that opportunity to get yourself hurt? And I think that's what a lot of Sasquatch players were thinking. Best way to sum up this video, looks can be deceiving. That being said, who were the players that played this furry lad? Sasquatch at high level of play can be extremely entertaining to watch, and I'd totally recommend watching it. Like, just watching this little ball of fury do whatever he wants, flying across the screen, and a lot of the time the opponent had to respect it to an extreme degree. And we leave this thinking, an amazing grappler design, but because of the way they designed his toolkit, you didn't use it as much. Maybe if the command grab didn't have as much whiff recovery, or maybe if his dash wasn't as good, they'd use it more. Point being though, something had to change for his grappler nature to really show. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you guys are looking forward to the new year. Be sure to like and subscribe as we're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers to cover a fun version of Zangief. Be sure to say hi to Terrapin and check out the membership system. And before this video ends, I just want to say that thank you guys for an amazing year. Genuinely, we had a great year. I think we built about like maybe 3,000 subs. I covered so many different characters. We covered Tiger, and we haven't even covered 20% of Grappler. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this series is gonna be. I'm looking forward to seeing what else we do with this channel. I also want to mention that Pandemonium will be coming back very soon. I just took a little break to work on stuff like this. But yeah, fellas, enjoy the new year, and I'll see you in 2026. Catch you in the Grappler Church. See ya!